All right, good evening. You're welcome to another Way Day show. Today I've got Daniel Bamaji on. How you doing today?
Good, my bro. I hope you're good as well.
Yeah, I'm all right, man. How's your day been?
It's been all right, man. You can imagine just work and then football. Like that's literally what life revolves around right now, man.
That's it, innit?
Yeah.
But no worries, man. Thank you for coming on today.
All
Like it was through Twitter. We was on another show together the other day, and like I was just listening to what he was saying, and I thought I need to get this guy on because he's actually chatting sense out of everyone. So thank you for coming on.
No worries, my bro.
All right. So the first question is: has football changed in the last 10 years?
Nah, definitely, man. It's funny you even asked that question because I was chatting to about my boys the other day, and it's just like that transition between or from fans and also football players. So people always think like when we talk about football changing, people think it's only to do with like the on pitch side of things. I think fans as well have changed across the last 10 years because obviously I'm fortunate to have been a football fan from young, understand football from young because I've like grown up in a football family, and like things used to be more straightforward back then. You see talent
Yeah,
and you know, like, cool, this guy is a baller, do you get what I'm saying? But these days, everything is driven by hidden agendas. I'm trying to get one up on one player, then the other, not factoring in like maybe a player coming from a different country. You see, for example, like let's say Ronaldo, yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, get like another version of him was to sign
yeah,
for United again before he had even done anything in the league, people would be saying he's like top three wingers in the world. You get me? That kind of vibe, and I think it's not. Is it a problem? Yeah, I think it is to an extent because what it does is it creates the mindset that this is okay to say things like this is okay. Do you get what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like having hidden agendas and whatnot. So I think from a fan perspective, it has definitely changed in terms of the opinions that we have. Then in terms of the on pitch stuff, I think the most blatant thing for me is the defending. Man, defending is literally in the bin. I'm literally in the process of writing an article about it. Like, there's
yeah,
no such thing as defending anymore. Like, if you look at even tactics, a lot of teams, if I'd say probably 70% of teams in the Premier League right now attack with their fullbacks as well. Like, you see Sheffield United, even though they're bottom of the league, they play with like overlapping centre backs. Wolves
yeah,
have changed their formation from a defensive style to now a 4-2-3-1. They're going to try and attack teams. Like, I feel like the only team in the league that really plays a counter-attacking style is Tottenham, and they're top of the league. So make of that what you will. But everyone's trying to attack, and I think that comes from trying to satisfy fans who want to see attacking football. I've seen Chelsea make that transition. Like, Chelsea fans are tired of winning with a defensive style. They want to play attacking football. So you see that there. Arsenal have always been known to be attacking, to have an attacking style. United want that attractive style. So football has definitely changed because from where we come from, defending used to be prioritized. It used to be defense first. When you think of the best teams, the best title winning teams, it's always been their defense that's been like the standout thing. But
yeah.
then now, yeah, it's changed in that regard. So on both sides of the spectrum.
So, like, yeah, because it's interesting you're saying about tactical, and when I think about it, I don't know. I mean, Arteta done it a couple times last season where he changed the way he set up his team to who he was playing against. So there was obviously a definite difference when we played Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City last season in the FA Cup, but Liverpool in the league. We
Mm,
definitely played counter-attacking football. So we set up basically a five at the back and countered that way. So to me, that shows that a manager has some sort of knowledge of football to change the way he plays. Mourinho sets up depending on who he's playing. So there's obviously tactical knowledge there, but then with Klopp and Guardiola, I mean Guardiola does sometimes switch it up depending on who he's playing. He tries to outsmart the opposition. So there's been a times
but
where
it's all
he
from
just
attacking.
flung like Bernardo up front and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to out trying to out think the opposition. And Klopp, I don't know, like for me is a strange one because obviously he needs to be a great manager to do what he's doing and getting the players to play the way he plays. But like you said, I just think it's just attack, attack, attack. It's
Mm,
not. I don't feel like there's any sort of real tactics behind it, such as like
mm.
he's just got all his players up to some mad peak fitness, and it's just like just play at 100 miles an hour for the whole game, and because of who, like you say, with the fullbacks attacking, they got Robertson and they got Trent on either side. So sometimes it's like they've got six up front because those two plus the front four that they're currently playing,
Yeah.
it's just mad. And like going back to 10 years ago, like I just felt like there was more tactics in football. Like
I think
you know,
the word you're looking for is the balance, man. I think
yeah,
like in football, there's people who say attack wins you games. There's people who say defense wins you games. But I think football is a one sport where it actually does need to be balanced to an
it's
extent.
balanced. Yeah,
You need a good defense and you need a good attack. But one thing I will say, and it's interesting how people think that it's attack it's attacks that are winning leagues, but really and truly, let's take a deeper look into it. When Klopp did eventually win the league, it came as a result of signing Alisson, Van Dijk, and
yeah,
Fabinho, a
110%.
defensive base. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
When Pep Guardiola finally won the league, it came as a result of buying fullbacks that he actually wanted that could do the job defensively and then serve the attacking thing that he had going on there. Do you get what I'm saying? So it all comes as a result of the defensive base that you're actually able to fix. And that's what I think people or are forgetting. Like football has changed in terms of the priority is how well you attack. But at the end of the day, at the root of any great attack, you need guys who are willing to do the job defensively for the attack to thrive. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, so yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I think something you were alluding to, I think Arteta's missed the trick because when he came in, like he put in a system of the counter attacking play to suit the
yeah.
players he had, play the three at the back, and it worked. You won a trophy, you even won a community shield after. Like, even if people want to say it was the new manager effect, at the end of the day, no one can take away those trophies from him and how he
Yeah,
won it.
but
Do you get what I'm saying?
you could,
But
but there was the new manager effect, but you could clearly see he had something in mind as well.
exactly,
And I think the whole where we're saying football has changed and the whole fans and the whole social media. I honestly think that he's changed the way he's played because people have got onto his back
yeah, 100%,
about it, and then he's
hundred
gone to
percent,
four at the back, and then since we've gone to four at the back, we haven't looked good at all.
100%.
Like everyone just looks, they're kind of looking a bit lost out there. And I know it's on Europa League, but I feel like those players that play in that competition, they're trying to prove a point, so they're naturally always gonna give you a bit more. But yeah, since it's just football's just, and then you don't really have people like Ferguson and Wenger and
Mm,
Mourinho where they just don't care anyway. Like Wenger was so stubborn towards the
yeah,
end. He knew what he had to get, but he never got it. He just still thought, you know what, let me go out and sign, attackers when
yeah.
for there was that chance where I feel like we could have got Kante and the history of Arsenal would be completely different right now
It's true if you did
because
get Kante, no,
Kante
100%.
is that good. When Kante was leaving Leicester, I feel like Arsenal could have got him at that
Yeah,
stage. But
I mean,
obviously,
32 mil.
and
That's
then
like
you guys
bargain
are
of the
going to get
century.
him, and it's no coincidence that you win the league straight away.
Yeah,
So, like you're saying, you need that defensive stability all the way through, and people like Kante and that give you. But yeah, it's just 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it's just change. The Arsenal teams are that like the 89 team and the 91 team that won the league. The
mm.
91 team only lost one game in that season, but it was built on George Graham having that defense and winning 1-0. You can't really do that anymore. It just doesn't it no one wants to do that anymore. And I think that's the biggest issue.
But the reason why no one wants to do it is because of the pressure they receive from the
Yeah.
fans, from the board.
On the
Like
board,
you, you,
everyone.
you get you get paid, you get brought in. The reason why you get a job is because you want your team to play an expansive style of football that is attractive.
Yeah,
You want to be more marketable. One thing I've understood now is football right now is a business. It's all
yeah,
about how much money you can bring in. And it's interesting because I always use Chelsea as the example. When Roman Abramovich first came into the club, it was all about winning trophies. How successful can we be? I'm going to put
yeah,
all the money into the club. I don't care what the manager does. I'm going to give you the money. Just make sure you win trophies. Then after we won trophies for a sustained period of time, it was about getting the Champions League. Finally got that Champions League. Now slowly Chelsea revolved their model and started trying to become a business. And how do you become a business? Start hiring managers who play attractive football, because attractive football is what will increase your fan base across the globe. Do you get what I'm saying? There's a reason why
yeah,
Barcelona, Real Madrid, United have been the big, even Arsenal, if you want to put them in that category based on their history, have been the biggest clubs
yeah,
over a period of time. It's because of the football that they play. And that's why now football's in the state where teams want to expand their base, but attract more fans. And it just doesn't, it doesn't work for everyone. Simple as, it doesn't
it's
work
just
for everyone.
it's weird because I hear you mention Man United there. Do you ever feel like there was a Man United team that played really attractive football?
I, Attractive might not have been the word, but one thing you have to give to Fergie and all the
Yeah,
teams he had, they had quality attackers.
yeah,
If you go through it, Van Nistelrooy, they always
yeah.
had a gunman.
Berbatov,
Rooney, Berbatov, Van
Van
Persie,
Persie, everyone. They had
Rooney,
loads.
Ronaldo, they Tevez, they had attackers. Like they played a simple 4-4-2. There wasn't much to it, but they had
Yeah,
attackers on the pitch that would make you think you're watching
yeah,
such attractive football,
yeah,
and they were winning as well. So that's a formula that just can never be questioned.
yeah. Because because when you say attractive football, I'm thinking. I think most people think like tiki taka, sort of Barcelona
Yeah,
football. Um, I don't know, man. Like Spurs, not so much like right now, but a couple years ago, when
Pochettino.
they were, Pochettino, when they were doing their thing, they played some decent football. But yeah, it is a funny one, and now I just feel like it's just built on footballs being athletes, and because they're athletes, they just got 100 miles an hour, do everything at 100 miles an hour. So the people that we enjoyed watching just don't get a squeeze anymore, which is sad, man. Very, very
Yeah.
sad. Um, so yeah, on to the next question then. Have we seen the end of the number 10?
I mean, again, this plays nicely because this was what I spoke about in my most recent episode. I think if I'm being honest, I think it could be the end. However, I think football is cyclical, in it, in the way that things come back around, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think the number 10 can come back again. But as of
Yeah,
now, yeah, there's no such thing as the number 10. Like, if you are a number 10 by nature, like if that's what you grew up like playing, you're gonna be transformed. You're either gonna become a winger or you're gonna become an eight. Do you get what I'm saying? You can't have that freedom that the number 10 has, like the Matters back in the day and the Ozils and who else would you say put into that category?
yeah. I mean, like I was just looking at my list because I was just so I didn't forget them. But yeah, like I had Ozil, Zidane.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember Raquelme.
yeah,
We had
100%.
yeah Pablo Aimar at Valencia.
Yep,
Obviously, you said Juan Mata, which is probably one of my favourites in the
yeah,
Premiership era. Ronaldinho,
yep,
Kaká, Totti, and my
yep.
favourite probably Del Piero.
Del
And then you
Piero, like
sort of then you had Del Piero and Dennis Bergkamp, where they were different.
centre
They
forward
were
type.
they were centre forward number 10s.
Yeah,
They would get goals, but they would create. And same with Totti. Towards the end, Totti probably scored more goals than he was creating.
yeah.
But that's what I tuned in to watch every week. Those sorts of players
Mm,
doing their magic. Whether people like Bergkamp's goal against Newcastle was fluke or whatever, but there's loads of games where he would just do things like that. And you just
mm.
think, how did the guy do that? Like, and then I don't know. Like, I just don't know why it changed or how it changed. And
It's
I
it's the
think it was
it's transformation of football. Like you have to
yeah,
think about it like this. Like when the 4-2-3-1 died,
yeah,
and what happened was
Yeah,
teams
that's what
wanted.
I literally got that written down here.
Yeah,
That, died,
the
yeah.
4-2-3-1 is what died, and then teams realized, like, look, we need wingers who can score goals. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how you win games is wingers who can score, and then midfielders who can work hard and obviously create as well. If you look at Man City, for example, I say David Silva and De Bruyne are probably naturally tens. They would have been tens. Do you get what I'm saying? But they
Yeah,
had to play
literally got
them.
the same thing written down. Yeah,
Exactly, and they would have played the number. They played the number 8 role for City in the
yeah,
title in the team. They had to work hard. They had to create. They had to defend. Like, teams are literally sacrificing one midfielder, so one defensive midfielder, and
mm-hmm.
pushing them further forward to supplement the attack. That's where the idea of attacking comes into it, because they
Yeah,
want to attack. They want to be on the front foot. Do you get what I'm saying? It's it's tough, man, because I see the same thing in guys like Grealish, Bruno
mm.
Fernandes. They're coming off the wing, or they're playing the number 8 position. Like, they're not. You either have to conform as a
Yeah,
creative player, or you're just gonna be eased out of the game. That's literally, and that's
yeah.
what's happening to Özil, really.
That's what's happened to him. It's just yeah. I mean, it's sad. It's sad because yeah, like I said, and that's I grew up on watching those players that I named, and yeah, now if you can't do what Silva does, or if you can't do what De Bruyne does and play that sort of from the wingish sort of positions, and Grealish, like
Mm,
I said, is doing it now. Madison is doing it now. It's taken away from their game because people are then saying, "Oh, it's because they work hard," but you know, when you've got these, you know, there were luxury players, you know, Matt
yeah,
Letitia, Gaza, they were luxury. They shouldn't have to be working that hard. Like, to be honest, they need that
because they're
energy
game
for
changers. Yeah,
yeah. Once the ball, they got that transition, and then they got on the ball, they have the energy to do it. I know that these sets of players now, they're just ridiculous athletes, so they can do both in it, but I don't really enjoy seeing it. Like, my attackers doing some mad chasing back. Like, obviously you love it because that shows that they care about your team, innit?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I like that sort of arrogance that Ozil used to bring, like, just, you know, and Matt Letitia used to just stand on the same spot, wait for the ball, and can dictate the play from there. But I think two things. Obviously, the times have just changed, but two things that I feel that probably attributed to this as well was Cesc Fabregas and Xavi Alonso.
mm,
I think they had a massive part in when they started doing that whole quarterback role business. So
mm,
they could start attacks from centre midfield,
mm-hmm.
from further back, from deeper. So because they could do that, it's like if Fabregas is getting 10, 15 assists a season, like you're saying, you can now bring another player into the team, like an out and out winger or whatever, someone like Salah or whoever is going to score 20, 25, 30 from the wing. And then also you don't really have Patrick Vieira or Roy Keane or players like that would enable you to play 4-4-2 because those sort of players can they can run a whole game in midfield. So you like you've got it with Kante and you had it with Makalele where they were so good at defending that you didn't have to worry about getting back so much because you
Yeah,
knew that these guys were taking control. And I think those sort of little changes in football have, yes, they've just killed off the players I feel like that I want to see because I just enjoyed watching Matt when he was at Chelsea.
yeah.
Enjoyed watching, you know, Dennis, Totti, all of those
Another
man.
another perspective though is that, like, this is kind of maybe in defense of the managers.
Yeah,
They're seeing it as a thing of, like, why should there be one player on the pitch that gets the freedom to
yeah,
do what they
yeah,
want when I could
yeah. Could you?
have
Could
another
you?
player
Yeah,
and have two guys who can
yeah,
attack and go back? Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, and go back.
So
Yeah.
they're seeing it like that, and then now,
Hmm.
really and truly, look at the CDMs and at the top clubs. You got Højbjerg, you got Kante, you got, I'd say, Fernandinho slash Rodri, you got
Mm.
Fabinho. These DMs need to be able to, like, defend, like
Hmm.
literally. marshal the whole back line. Do you get what I'm saying? There's no team see it as there's no point in having two guys. We don't need two guys doing that job now. We only need
You
one
feel
person.
Man United did it though.
And that's why they're not as successful as they should be. Look, I've
Yeah.
always said Man United had the players to build around Pogba, but poor recruitment, poor management styles caused that. Like, Ander Herrera is the perfect player to play that free in midfield. Like, if you watch them at Bilbao, he lost a lot of his attacking ability coming to United. Like, he was a box to box midfielder, and he lost all of that. What they should have done is bought a CDM who was able to do the job, get another 8, so Ander Herrera, develop him and make him a better player, and then play Pogba. And even then, you can still look at Grealish, Maddison, all these guys. Even though they're playing in reversed roles, they still get the freedom to do what they want. Grealish is still a maverick on the Aston Villa team. Maddison, well, when he was fully fit, I think he's still trying to get back into it, was the guy pulling the strings for these guys. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
on the flip side, though, I think,
yeah.
do you think they would lose that if they were to join Chelsea, Man United, Man City, the top teams? Because I think if they went to Spurs, that's different because Spurs are trying to break into that. But the teams that are already up there, I don't know. I feel like those two players in particular would lose a bit of their edge because I don't know. It's at the moment I feel like it's getting taken out of players. Maybe even if they went to someone like Everton, the way Ancelotti is letting James play again, Rodriguez, not James, Rodriguez there, James. So he's just like he seems like he's being free again. But at Real
He's
Madrid,
playing on the wing though.
yeah, but he seems to be free doing it though because the pressure of not like no one can chat to him though. Really, like Everton, they're a club, they're a decent club, but they haven't done anything. So when you get players like that who are slightly above your team, I feel like they sort of run things. Like
But
they've got
even
that.
then, you made the point you made there is valid because I'd even say Barkley falls into that category where he moved to Chelsea and he lost a bit of his spark.
And then
And
he's
it's
gone to
true.
Villa and just looks like
He looks a better player, much
yeah, he looks a better player because they know they're lucky to have him, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I get you still,
And
but
it frees them up.
I just think that it's the way things are. It's the way things are set up. If you're good enough, you're good enough. Do you get what I'm
You're
saying?
good enough.
I
That's
think
the thing,
I
isn't it?
think Grealish goes to another team and still has the same effect.
Yeah. I mean, we see him do it with England, so we know.
Yeah, I think he's that good. And like, it's just a thing where now, as a 10, you can't afford to have the creative or the freedom that you want. Ozil wants the pitch to himself. He wants to be literally, you man run for me, which I have no problem with. Ozil's that good. But it needs to be a situation where you man run for me, but when I get the ball, I'm gonna go to work kind of thing. But no team is prepared to do that for him. Do you get what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. I think
And that's the problem.
that was again a bit of Arsene Wenger where I wouldn't even say Arsene Wenger was he wasn't really a master tactician, was he? He could always get a group of players and get them playing well together. And he let the people that he knew were the best, where other managers may rein them in if they get a bit too cheeky or whatever, he would still just let them play. So at the time we had Sanchez and we had Ozil, and it was basically two players having a free role, which most teams don't have that. You don't have two, you have one player playing a free role.
Yeah.
But we had two players playing a free role. Sanchez used to just do whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah.
And he would lose the ball 100 times a game.
But
But it
was
didn't
the
matter.
moment. Yeah.
It didn't matter because that moment was coming. So where people used to cuss him and stuff, I used to be like, no, I don't care because the moment is coming. And I think that's what we're kicking out of certain players that, you know, you need to keep it simple. People kept saying Fernandes need to keep it simple. But if other players took on what Fernandes done and played the risky passes and stuff, you would get better benefits from it. And I think as well, obviously it depends on who you got up front. When you've got these risky players, it depends on who they're giving the ball to, because
Mm.
I love Giroud. I think Giroud is probably the most underrated striker probably in the history of the Premiership. Like
Yeah.
for the amount of goals and stuff that he scored for both Chelsea and Arsenal, and the types of goals he scores and who he scores them against, he's probably the most underrated striker. But the level was different when Ozil was passing to him compared to when he was passing to Sanchez, or even when he's passing to Ronaldo. So when
Mm.
he's giving Ronaldo the ball, obviously he's going to get 25, 30 assists a season in it, because
100%.
that's just the levels in it. And I see it now with Fernandez. Like, he's playing match-winning passes,
Yeah.
but the ball is not hitting the back of the net.
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Oh, he shouldn't have played that pass. He shouldn't have done this." But it's for everyone to get onto his level. That's the way I see it. Is that people need to start getting onto his level now. So you let him do whatever he wants, because he's proven to be a match winner right now.
No, it's interesting you say that. And even with the Arsenal thing, the 15-16 Arsenal, I recently did a video on Giroud, and I basically broke it down that, fam, people were so consumed with Giroud not finishing Ozil's chances, they forgot that Sanchez went on a 10-game barren run. Sanchez went on a run where he went from October to, I believe it was March, without scoring. Something like that, something crazy like that. And it's like, Sanchez is the game changer on this team, not Giroud. Giroud scored 16 goals that season. Sanchez scored 13. So let's not forget that. Like, Sanchez is supposed to be, like, obviously, yeah, maybe Ozil's the best player, but Sanchez is the match winner. Do you get what I'm saying? And
that was
I think
that was the second season, wasn't it, or the first one?
15-16, the year Leicester won.
Yeah, Leicester won it. Yeah.
So yeah, but what was key to that system was the guys behind it. And let's not forget, obviously Sanchez was doing what he wanted, but Sanchez worked hard. He worked very hard.
He worked hard.
He ran off the ball, and until the last season where his mind wasn't there. He worked really hard. And these players come at a premium. And for me, it depends on the system you have around these players. Like, you need to build your system around. And what Wenger did well is he had a system. Like, he had Ramsey. Ramsey's a workaholic. He had Oxlade-Chamberlain for all his like bad or negatives. He's someone who works hard. You have I think Santi Cazorla was in that team.
Yes, Santi,
quality player, like
so good.
If not for injuries, like, he could have been one of the best in the mids that we remember today. So like, it all depends on the system, what you wanted to. You always knew Arsene Wenger was trying to play football. He was trying to play quality football, and he had the players to do that. And that's why I think Arsenal really missed the trick not winning the league that year. But when it comes to these tens, when it comes to these tens, these type of players, these kind of mavericks, I call them, you have to build a system around them, or else they won't be. Aston Villa have the perfect system around Grealish, like, for him to thrive. Same goes for every other. Bruno is thriving because of his quality, not necessarily because of the team. So imagine if they bring in a manager who builds a team around him that rises to his level. You got a quality player on your hands.
I think that's my main issue with Paul Pogba. I'm like, if you spend 80, or with the exception of obviously Maguire, but if you spending that sort of money on a player, you have to build the team around him. You have to watch what Juventus done. You have to watch what France done, and you mimic it. That's what you do. And I always say, even with Arsene Wenger, he missed a trick where he didn't mimic what the Invincibles done. Like, you had Patrick Vieira and you had somebody else next to him that was gonna do the sort of dirty work, but Patrick Vieira was box to box. And I think, like, you try to mimic your best teams, and then you build around your best players. And I just feel like they've never once built the team around Pogba. Like, we know what he can give you, but why you? I know I know you've argued for and against, but I just feel like, why do you want to hold him back by getting him to do the dirty defensive work when you know what he can do
going forward?
And that's always, he's gonna be, I think as well, people get on his back because I don't think there's many people in this world that don't like Paul Pogba. Like, I know he's flashy off the pitch and all that, and that's probably what people don't like. But on the pitch, I think everybody wants to see him do well, and I think that's why so much people get on his back, because they want to see him doing well. But I don't think any of his Man United troubles have been his fault, to be honest, because I just thought, you spent all that money, You know what he brings going forward. Why have you put chains on the guy? And it's just it don't make sense to me. But again, there's a reason why we're sitting here and Ole is the manager and
100%.
Moyes is
And
the manager
I mean, I've said it, man. With Pogba as well. Like, um, obviously the guy I do my podcast with, he's a United fan, and I've
yeah.
broken it down a number of times. Like, I've always said, look, there's nothing De Bruyne can do that Pogba can't do. When I look at two of
Mhm.
them, although very different players, they're quality in it. And when you're of
Mm.
that quality, you can do a lot of things going forward. So when I look at them and I looked at their stats, like I see Pogba's goals and assists, yeah, not even that they're low, but the one that's higher changes every season. Whilst with De Bruyne, you know his assists are going to be higher than his goals every year. And that comes from the fact that they've got a manager who has come in and he knows what he wants to get out of De Bruyne. The reason
Mm.
why Pogba's one fluctuates so much is because you don't even know what United want to do with him. It's like they bought Pogba and didn't have an idea of where they wanted to
Yeah,
play.
I mean that was the marquee signing that sort of everybody was calling for. So I feel like they felt they had to sign the guy, but
Mm,
they didn't
didn't have a plan.
really didn't have a plan for him. But I've got the list of what is this? What's got like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like 20 players for the top assists for last season,
Yeah.
and we've got Messi at the top, 21 assists. Thomas Muller, 21. KDB 20, Jadon Sancho 16, Luis Alberto at Lazio 15, Di Maria 14 at PSG, Gomez that very good player at Atalanta, Trent Alexander on 13, the fake Hazard, so Hazard's brother, Torgan at Dortmund 13, Akunku at Leipzig 13, Robertson on 12, um, Kostic at Frankfurt, he's on 11. Serge Gnabry's on 10. How many of them are number 10s?
Yeah.
Not one of them.
I'd say
Before,
I'd say
oh,
probably only
would you say KDB?
I wouldn't
No,
even put him in there. I'd say
no.
probably like Maxi Gomez to an extent. Atalanta,
Yeah,
I think he's a
yeah,
10.
Gomez that. Yeah,
Um, but a lot of them wingers, fullbacks.
yeah. And that's where just the game has changed because that would be Cesc Fabregas, that would be um, Mesut, that would be Juan Mata, but none of them. Like I know they're all past it now, but there's none of those sort of players in
Yeah,
that top list, and that's across the whole of Europe. So that shows that the whole of Europe is not just the Premiership that's changed; it's the whole, it's just football in general. Literally, just football in general.
yeah.
Which, I mean, we're never gonna start watching football, but I just feel like, yeah, I don't know, like,
You missed the old style.
yeah, I miss that old style, and
I think
yeah,
it's easy. The thing is, it's difficult for you though because if I do the flip side now, for us to be honest, because even though I'm not old, but I still like I'm
mm,
fortunate to have watched like the Invincibles and stuff like that. So I think for you,
for
why it's
someone
tough?
coming in, yeah, yeah,
Why it's
someone,
tough?
yeah,
Yeah, someone just coming in.
coming into it,
This is
yeah,
the norm for them.
that's normal, yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And you have something to compare to. That's
yeah,
why it's
yeah.
kind of difficult. So you can say, "Oh, football was like this, this, and this." But when you're trying to tell someone who this is their norm, football was like this, they're like, "Bro, chill." Like I'm not trying to hear that. Like this is what I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's tough, man. It's very tough.
Yeah, no, it's just, I hope it comes back. I hope it comes
Yeah.
back.
No, hopefully, I
Um,
do think it's cyclical, man. I think all these things are processes that come back around. So
yeah. So on to the next question. Who's your favorite number 10? I'm gonna give you three because giving you one is a bit mad. I'm gonna give you three.
Ooh, my favorite number 10. I mean, there's been a number of number 10s. Like you mentioned some of them, like Imar. Like the
Yeah,
thing about these players that I was lucky to watch them in not even watch them, but play with them in football games. Do you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Riquelme, Baller, like he was always like people always used to say he was overweight and that, but
yeah,
like just like Letizier and all these kind of guys, these guys are mavericks. Like they need the freedom of the pitch, like, and they will create. a mad thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but my favorite number 10s, three. Do you want it in order or just it can just be
No,
any?
just give me three because putting them in order
Um,
is a bit mad.
I would say Bergkamp is there. So as a Chelsea fan, I love Bergkamp. Like I think Bergkamp was one of the best number 10s we've seen,
Yeah, go.
based on the fact that just his technical ability. This guy, like, I believe he won the Ballon d'Or, if I'm not mistaken, or he was in the top three.
He's in top three, yeah.
Top three, yeah. I mean, I think he finished second. I think he finished second, yeah. Like this guy was a baller. Like, people focus so much on Ajax, I mean Arsenal Bergkamp that they forget about the Bergkamp before.
The
Like,
backhand that used to beat people for pace, and
bro,
he was a mad striker. Like when I was just watching videos the other day, and I was like, I saw when we got Bergkamp,
yeah,
he wasn't even at the end. I think he was 26 or 27, so he wasn't even at the end.
yeah.
But he was that intelligent that he knew he had to change his game coming over here, and he just
Mhm.
changed his game
Like that.
completely. Just completely changed his game, and some of the stuff I saw that guy do, man, like Thierry Henry's always gonna be the Mr. Arsenal that everybody remembers and talks about because
Mm,
what that guy used to do. But for me, the better footballer and a better footballing brain was Dennis Bergkamp, 110%, man.
yeah.
110.
No, 100%. And like, look, like I was saying, Inter Milan, Ajax, Dennis Bergkamp was such a baller. Like people
Yeah.
forget. Like I think if I was to say for people to remember, I think for me the most iconic moment is not even that the Newcastle thing. I think it's the hat trick against Leicester. I think it was.
You know
Um,
what? The one of the goals that he scored against Leicester, he done the same thing, but he done that against Argentina in the World Cup.
yeah, no, I remember that goal. I
So
remember
for
that goal.
me, that is probably. I mean, yeah, I love that Leicester hat trick, but every time I watch that goal they scored against Argentina, I was just like, how's my like? You can't just take the mitt. Like for me, that's just like you just playing in the park with your mates. Like when you the way he used to play football was like that. He just used to just do whatever he wanted. The game was slowed down
Mhm.
for him, and he would just do whatever he wanted, man. Dennis was just magic. He was pure
100%.
magic, man.
And then second, probably say um, this would be a surprise, yeah, but
Mm.
like, do you know what? Would I class him as a number 10? Actually, I'll leave him out. I'll say honorable mention in it, but my second one I'd probably say is I'd probably say Zidane. Yeah, I'd probably say
Yeah,
Zidane, of
yeah,
course, just for obvious reasons. Zidane, technical brilliance as well. You probably see a trend in my players like Bergkamp, Zidane, technical ability, the
yeah,
ability to just bring the ball out of the sky, things like that. Like what they meant to their clubs and the things that they were able to do with the football, their football brain. Like they could just see the pitch, like without even needing to look. Like they'd make
yeah.
balls. Like you don't get guys like Özil without these Bergkamps and Zidanes. These guys weren't really quick per se, but what they could do, they were so much quicker than you in the brain, and that's what Fabregas was
Hmm.
basically explaining. He said, like, quickness in the brain is so much better than pace on the pitch, like because you do things before anyone even reacts to it. You get what I'm saying?
That was going to be. I was going to say. I know he's not number 10, but Cesc.
Yeah,
The quickness of that guy's brain was. Oh no,
unreal, man, unreal.
he the, he was slow, but he was quick. Like
Yeah,
the goal that he scored against Spurs from
the one
straight
from
from
the
kickoff.
kickoff. Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
no way someone with his pace should have scored that goal. It's
Yeah,
just like it just shouldn't have happened. Like he's got minus pace, but he ran through them like he was like a sick quick winger boy. But
yeah.
yeah, I know he's not a number 10, but yeah, Cesc is just
And then number
amazing.
one, actually, let me say my honorable mention. My honorable mention is Deco. Deco, I thought was
Mm,
baller, as in
mm,
like he's
mm,
like an eight
mm.
and a half, 10
Yeah,
type
yeah, he's an
player.
8.5. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
Deco,
yeah.
yeah, unbelievable. And I think it's because we had him at Chelsea as well,
Mhm.
under Scolari, and I think he went Ancelotti as well. Yeah, so we had Deco, and he just balled out, man. Technical ability, could see the pitch. You know them guys who come on with gloves, like you know when they come
Yeah.
on with gloves, you know that they're the guy in it. But yeah, Deco really loved him, and then obviously at Barcelona as well, baller. And then number one for me, ultimate 10, made me watch football. Ronaldinho, man, like just everything about him. Like there's not much you can really say about Ronaldinho. He was just like elite level 10. Um, yeah, like elite level 10. And you know what? I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm actually gonna kick out Zidane because I can't believe I forgot this. But Kaka is second for me,
Yeah.
yeah. Because everyone thinks Kaka is not on the level of Messi, Ronaldo, and that, but respect needs to be put on his name. He went through a lot of the Real Madrid period affected him a lot, and injuries messed him up. Kaka
Yeah.
was elite. Kaka was on that level. He just couldn't sustain it, and that's because of obviously other issues. But Kaka was a baller. Like what he did to United in the
Yeah.
Champions League, the ball to Crespo against Liverpool in the Champions League final.
Mhm.
Like, bro, Kaka was on different
Yeah.
stuff.
What I think
Different
we need
stuff.
to do with a couple of these players though is come back on another show and talk about them because
Mm,
I love them, but what I want to see is that the years that they were active, that they were at the top of the top.
of their
Because
game, yeah.
the thing with me is, I think I don't know. I need to go back and really check it. But for me, like I think Kaká, Ronaldinho, and even Zidane to a certain extent, it wasn't that long. Their period of being on the
On the
top
top. Yeah.
wasn't really long, which probably sets. I know Messi and Ronaldo are just on some crazy level anyway. Like we can't even.
But do you know where it was though? That period of time wasn't so consumed by stats. Imagine these
Yeah,
stats
yeah,
in
yeah,
this period of
yeah.
time. They'd be criticizing them. Do you get what I'm
That's what
saying?
it is. Yeah, it's a stats
Like
thing. Isn't it? Yeah.
deep it, yeah. If you even go through someone like Iniesta now, yeah, he has never.
What position was he? What position was
I'd
he?
say he's an 8. I wouldn't put him as a
8,
10.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd
yeah,
put him as
that's
an
what's
8.
up. Yeah.
But he never scored 10 goals, and I don't even think he got 10 plus 10 assists in a season.
Yeah.
Like he just wasn't a stats guy. But what he did, like this is why if you didn't watch football, you just would not be able to understand. Same goes for Zidane. Same goes
Yeah.
for Bergkamp. All these guys there, like it's like when people say, "Oh, Bergkamp isn't in the top 10 because he never scored 100 Premier League goals." I'm like, fam, he wasn't there to score goals. Like
Mhm.
I'm saying,
Yeah, no, it is mad because I mean the three that you've given, my the difference would have probably been Kaka and Zidane.
mm,
Um, so I would have probably given you those three, but since you gave those three, um, I want to say Del Piero,
yeah,
Totti,
yeah.
and because you put Kaka in, and I'm gonna have to say Zidane then because you
Yeah.
because you kicked him
Yeah,
out.
I
So
had to kick him out, man.
I'm gonna give you Zidane, but my honourable mentions are definitely what matter for Premiership anyway. Definitely what matter,
Yeah, no, definitely.
and another one of your guys, Gianfranco Zola, which
Yeah,
is another in between, very in between.
yeah.
Um,
SS kind of
yeah,
centerforward
it's
type
just
of
it's very in
10.
between, and one of my all-time favorites as well, man, Paolo Di Canio. Like
Yeah.
again,
But
very
then don't you think then, because now we've analyzed this trend, don't you think it's
yeah,
evolution of the 10? Maybe we have 10s in football, but it's a different form of it.
yeah. It's just a different form of it because like you say,
You
just
still
those
need that
last three.
creative cog in your
Yeah,
team. So
yeah, it's definitely very intriguing, and obviously we'll see where it's gonna go in another 10 years from
yeah,
now. But
for real.
I hope that we get that number 10 back, man.
I
But
think it's
Daniel,
tough, you know.
yeah, go on.
Tough. I think the reason thinking about it more and more now, I don't think it can come back because you have to remember those 10s, yeah, they were allowed the freedom of the pitch to literally do whatever you wanted, like not even worry about the defensive side of things.
Yeah,
But in like football now, you need 11. You need your every manager is gonna think you need your 11 players.
I think I honestly just think it's down to athleticism, to be honest,
Yeah.
because the tens that we picked, not one of them was an athlete, like in terms
Yeah,
of what they look like now or how they move now. None of them.
yeah,
So the game's changed that much that even the people that do get sort of laughed at for being overweight, like Maguire and people like that, they're
yeah.
still in very good shape, aren't they?
Shape, yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
it's even when people used to laugh at Frank Lampard and that time he took off his top and man had like had a six pack in that, and everyone was like, rah.
Yeah,
So we know that obviously everything's just changed, man. Like
yeah,
it's changed. Players don't smoke and that, well, not in public in here, but
yeah.
everything's just completely different, man. But it's definitely an intriguing topic, which I think we should come back visit it at the end of the season and see sort of what has happened with Fernandez and if he has stay true to it, man.
100.
But Daniel, thank you so much for
No
coming
worries,
on.
bro.
Like, definitely the best chat I've had about football in forever, man. Please plug your socials, your football show, and your Twitter, everything. Plug it, man.
Yeah. Twitter, Insta, everything is Daniel Banerjee, as seen on screen, just my name. And then if you want to see my content, it's all on Eyes on the Ball TV. So on all platforms, YouTube, Insta, Twitter, Eyes on the Ball TV. So that's me.
Yeah, thank you, man. Definitely that you just go listen to his content, man. He knows what he's talking about. It's none of that just trying to get the likes out here for just chatting rubbish, man. He knows what he's talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Nah,
as well as me,
appreciate it,
just
bro.
follow me on Away Day Show on Twitter,
Hundreds.
and on Instagram and on YouTube. I'm Big Gunner. So Daniel, once again, man, thank you so much, and we're definitely gonna get back next month or
Hundreds.
so with
Hundreds.
more content, man.
All
All right,
right, then.
safe for that, man. Have a good day, yeah.
You too.